be in Manipur, which may not be the same as conservational thinking in the rest of the world today.
Okay, okay. So you ying area se ekoi cultural heritage with agasu koi monument lom the area ka karen emphasis se ekoi practicing heritage me am sidne habne. Adu particularly any emphasis people area am di labra.
Emphasis people the ekoi meta ne area se sacred ne.
Okay.
It is a sacred that is actually the important part of Kangla.
Okay.
It's koigi Kangla si the port yam label natte hariba. Koigi
Kangla significance to never.
Koigi Taj Mahal label lam natte. Koigi the Great Wall of China label lam natte hariba. Koigi heritage si the yamba the kok manungda natraga koigi movement the labor. Aduna meta oibani abstract oibani. Adu masi karamaina samjana handa ke for the 21st century.
Okay, that's going to be a challenge.
The challenge.
Okay, that will be.
So aduna koi IMASI Foundation gi koi na masigi conference yauri se. IMASI Foundation na masi conference presentation tauri se. Adu gi maram na ni hariba. Kai na the koi trustees me am se. Koi agasham the gi so Yamung Nimai or so Tamuratan at whose place we're having the conference at Chorus. The koi me am say it's a matter of great concern. How do we preserve our heritage and what is the heritage
which
that
is
we are
not so concrete
not
like
so
some other
exactly.
We'll take a break here. We'll take a break here, but we'll come back after a short break and discuss more deftly about how actually Somi and his group plans to actually protect our heritage.
Mana nungtagi chari ba maru marang yaw bachinjak sing siyang. Masin hakchangi pangal amade liver sohan batana tana. Pok naba acidity cha batum dabana chingba kya narak priya.
Imana pirakpa hakchang ngakthoknaba hidak lairisidi lipset namanaba singa nungtiri party sanga chadrabadi sukya magyadabra adumna khangdra male masina puknaba thinbagi awaba thohanba yai
lipset nungtigi chabana acidity cha batum daba khong haba yadaba phali aduga chak su lamal le
liver bu farabadi punsi su superhit oire
Mana nungtagi chari ba maru marang yaw bachinjak sing siyang. Masin hakchangi pangal amade liver sohan batana tana. Pok naba acidity cha batum dabana chingba kya narak priya.
Imana pirakpa hakchang ngakthoknaba hidak lairisidi lipset namanaba singa nungtiri party sanga chadrabadi sukya magyadabra adumna khangdra male masina puknaba thinbagi awaba thohanba yai
lipset nungtigi chabana acidity cha batum daba khong haba yadaba phali aduga chak su lamal le
liver bu farabadi punsi su superhit oire
Welcome back. Break mamangda koina agenda Manipur da khana jarmi se Manipur amasung Myanmar ani gi heritage si karmain tokdana koi conservation tawba Manipur gi conserve tawno honabada understand porkata ge habitu gi matang dani koi gi sangai festival ga mari lenena pangthok kadoriba tang kulumde de gina kunga bhau pangthok kadoriba Myanmar Manipur conference on conservation of cultural heritage. Somi's made it very clear that the cultural heritage that we are looking at is not the kind that you, Dr. Francois, you've been involved in doing it. But in your talk with Somi or this group, have you found any area where you can actually put your expertise into use in case of Manipur? We do have some structures still existing in Kangla. Apart from the fact that the central idea, the sacredness of Kangla as a site of the power that Manipuri king willed at one point in time.
Well, we haven't had a chance to talk really, deeply on these matters. But what I would emphasize is more questions of methodology. I mean, we've been working on this kind of. Reconstructing the different phase through which the building in Mandalay was renovated, and so I think it would be very useful also for the Kangla fort to see how the building looked like, but also at what stage it was renovated, and try to understand what the renovation meant for the people who did it at that time.
Okay.
And I think we don't want to bring in ready-made recipes for renovation. It's more like we bring in methodological tools, and then it's for Manipuri people to decide whether they want to use these tools, or whether I mean, to find their way of actually reconstructing their past and I mean, tracing back this cultural legacy.
Okay. But are you looking beyond Kangla, Somi? We Kangla khakta natte na khoi kano gi se.
Oh, natte.
Khoi kano Kanchipur da hill lock to the palace.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯇꯧꯒꯗꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯀꯣꯟꯐꯔꯦꯟꯁ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯀꯣꯟꯐꯔꯦꯟꯁꯇꯗꯤ ꯍꯧꯕꯗ ꯉꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯎꯟꯅꯕ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯌꯦꯡꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯦꯔꯤꯇꯦꯖ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯛꯄꯁꯤꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯅꯨꯃꯦꯟꯇꯦꯜ ꯍꯦꯔꯤꯇꯦꯖ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯦꯇꯔꯤꯌꯦꯜ ꯍꯦꯔꯤꯇꯦꯖ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯀꯪꯂꯥꯒꯨꯝꯕꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯛꯀꯗꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯀ꯭ꯔꯥꯐꯠꯁꯀꯁꯤ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯇꯦꯛꯁꯇꯥꯏꯜꯁ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯂꯣꯟ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯑꯔꯤꯕ ꯂꯣꯟꯒꯤ ꯁꯤꯆꯨꯋꯦꯁꯟ ꯀꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯁꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯃꯛ ꯇꯤꯟꯁꯤꯜꯂꯛꯄꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯀꯣꯟꯚꯔꯁꯦꯁꯟ ꯑꯃꯈꯛ ꯂꯥꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯥꯟꯁꯋꯥꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯔꯦꯁꯤꯄꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯄꯨꯊꯣꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯋꯥ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ or to say that this is what we're going to do next to save the cultural heritage of Myanmar and Manipur habigi nattaba we are starting to explore the issues to see what kind of thinking there is that we can bring together from both sides that can mean something for both sides.
Okay, Lakji, you know, every time in Manipur we talk about the eastern door opening. We have a saying in Manipur, all things will become right once the, we call it Nongpok Thong. Nongpok Thong means the eastern part where the sun rises. So basically we're looking at a closer tie with the Myanmars. What do you see this whole, you know, in the government's lookish policy and then this trade route coming in, do you think this is going to have impact on the way how we interact with each other? Will it be more on materialistic side, you know, buying and thing, or how strong is the cultural movement there in Myanmar, which can actually link up with the cultural movement here in Manipur?
To tell you the truth, there was a similarities and dissimilarities on both sides. Similarities, you know, we see since prehistoric time, there are stone implements, the ceramic, you know, the utensils, there are many similarities. And the nearest, there will be a lot of, you know, intercurrent relationship between the two countries in the past and in the future as well, provided all the roads are open and there is a safety passage between the two countries, you know, and there will be more development of the cultural relations. And even now, I saw one cultural relation recently, over 100 years ago in the past, one pair of lions in front of the palace, your palace. This is Burmese.
Okay.
This is Burmese, purely Burmese.
Okay.
Yes.
So we tend to think of it as Manipuri. So you say it's Burmese.
No, it is Burmese, but tinged with Manipuri, you know, styles and designs.
So when a Myanmari looks at Manipuri culture, how do you look at it? How do you look at it? Do you look at it as a sort of the Myanmari culture, or is it? Do you recognize the Manipuri culture as its unique?
People used to think, you know, the greater country is the main, you know, from which the weaker country borrowed, you know. This is wrong. There is always interrelationship, and we cannot say which side copies which one, unless we make a thorough research, you know. But according to my learning from my friends, that this is, you know, formerly built by the Burmese army occupying here, but it was destroyed later on, and this is the replacement. And now it is bearing, you know, the Manipuri the characteristics. So
it's kind of a amalgamation between the Burmese culture and the Meitei culture.
Yes. Yes. I really think so.
Mana haibana akhoi kangla sa se Burma gi chindit ka manai haiba. The chindit sisu kangla sa ka chap manaba, except chindit si machi pandaba. Adamana machi palisi kari haiba.
Machi sina Meitei element with
exactly. Machi hapsala pis Meitei hapsala in haiba. but chindit sidi yamna lay hariba akhoi da chindit adum phangi marak da but Burma da yamna yam phangbadi nati hariba koi IMASI foundation logo is chindit ni hariba kami sing chindit ni the chindit ko se akhoi ge the machi hapsal ga mana sugana hange keno gi lik am sa sirami akhoi kangla sha se lik sikari no ai khangdaba because I'm not really an expert I get the exploration gi wani hariba the I the khangning bado adu akhoi gi lai hui su akhoi gi partner ni lai hui su research to ba traditional music as akhoi yaw pena gi kari no ko ngasi we went to the museum today.
Yes.
And we saw a range of musical instruments. And he was saying, oh, we have this in Burma, we have that in Burma, we have this. Akhoi shule na. Jahan so jahan karab.
Jahan ko moise.
Symbols.
Okay.
And you saw many musical instruments
Yes,
that you
many similarities, you know. We cannot decide yet, you know, unless we make thorough research. And we should not jump to a conclusion yet.
Okay. So, as someone who's very interested in Southeast Asian history, do you have a plan to kind of, make a particular study on this Manipuri culture and then link it up with?
There are few people doing this, you know. So, I should rather say the study is weak. I cannot study alone, you know. I cannot stand alone. We have to combine together all our efforts to make it a sensible progress. So far, there are very few people doing this. Of course, in future, I hope that this will well develop.
Okay. We have a Center for Myanmar Studies in our university. Is there a way we can link it up this?
Yes, we are actually link it. Akoigi Center for Myanmar Studies ge ojana bakumaga sum yawi hari. Akoigi especially nakoi MU da chatana boigi satatara ni thoshi tharakani.
Okay.
Akoigi conference da yawdir. Conference yamna limited ni. Akoi wari saba yana mi sikhara yaman de hari.
Okay.
Aduga conference haibagi wadani yam free flowing oiba conference ni aduga hobudagi mase art and culture ki conference ni haijariba. Chumna ki scholarship ki shiyarukani but mainly for art, artists and culture. Aduna ne koina tamoratan na sponsor oibidana masu mapam ga se free the pidana chorus tawrise because it's a conference about art and artists and the culture that art and artists produce, you know. So masida koina Shanghai Festival ya was akodi labag yam phabani because we have an added dimension of discussion.
Okay.
You know, because what is culture that we are presenting? What is culture that we should be preserving in order to present to outside visitors, for instance? Aduna masigi dane koina yam kanna nungaidori se masida masigi wari sa basida.
So aina important point am lang bai tare the way I see it, all three of my panel members are a sort of conservationists in a way. Haidi hanagi labor port conserve kamain to say the tourism ziga na sai hai giba subina hai giba tourism zi as a potential money earning kind of in every nation industry won't tourism airports. Tourism is a double-edged sword kind of thing. While rich cultural heritage, it's a pull factor for tourists. Tourists may have the tourists may have the madugi degradation, madugi the challenge of actually safeguarding it.
Adugi awabudane khwaidagi maru oridi. Karigino habada hojiki tourist si lakani hai se akhoi di paisa phangani da hai ko adugi development ki kaino ne savior ni haidana sila ati koi yarani yam nungarani paisa yan talani to the impact to karino habagi mla ani han hijagre dana but hojik haidori se akhoi gi culture se masi culture se si yeng bula kadori ne hariba tourist amana Manipur la kadori si Goa gi beach expect of na lak panate hariba
akoi culture jing la pene
Agra gi Taj Mahal expect of lak panate moi la kadori si what is unique and special about Manipur sigi damak ta la kadori ne ba the tourist will come to see what is unique about Manipur not expecting Manipur to look like Kashmir or Goa or Kerala or Bali or New York. So Manipur has to be Manipur, which then begs the question, what is Manipur? What is the cultural heritage that makes Manipur unique karino manipur na atopa mapham dagi khare top top na
adugi uniqueness to budi ekhoina showcase tawrani na khallaseba. The question is madugi du showcase tawganda lakadori mi myam je ekhoigi di like you said kanomda natedana. It's nothing, it's not about monuments, it's not about sea beaches, it's about a living culture level. And most likely living culture gumbasi sigi tourism is going to impact a lot. Hoigi leba nat ki matawi myam si akhoi practice never, it's a living thing never. So linking it with tourism ki can say a little bit of ironic way. No?
Yes, because sometimes then you begin to sell your culture.
Yes.
For
Culture,
the tourist.
culture and everything.
Yes, then you're beginning to package your culture in order to sell it to a consumer who happens to be the foreign tourist or the domestic tourist coming. So for that reason, the conference is meant to add the initial conversation to say, like, what is it that we should be preserving so that we don't actually have a degradation of our culture, that we show the good part, the strong part, the rich part about this culture.
Safeguarding
To safeguard.
is one of the
But
central
also
point.
it will promote culture, because it is only when we safeguard our own culture that people will come to see what is unique about our culture.
Kannanabagi wakhanduga loinena promote tawudu.
Promote tawgadamne tourism chawkhatpadusu akhoi si leirakanda akhoi lanse phajana senarakanda adudagi chawkhatpasu helakani hariba. So actually what we are proposing is to take part in the conversation about what is the model of tourism that Manipur is going to be building.
Okay. Francois, you have been involved in actually conserving this thing, I mean, restoring
Monastery.
it. And you must be knowing the challenges that you face from the tourists.
Oh yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Well, for the time being, we are we haven't reached the stage where we are designing a tourist strategic plan, because we are really
I'm not
doing
talking about Manipur as such. I'm talking about in general.
In general, well, I think the Myanmar government is very much aware of the tourist impact. The opening up is
Yes, with the
triggering.
democracy coming in.
Yeah. So I think everybody is trying to find a way, a strategy to make sure that tourism does not impact so much the living culture, the living
Because it's not
traditions.
enough just putting up a signboard
Yeah,
and saying
yeah,
don't
yeah.
touch.
Yeah,
It's not enough,
yeah,
because
yeah.
people do touch.
I think what the Myanmar government, Dr. Timanji might confirm, is trying to promote is a kind of eco tourism,
Eco-tourism.
whereby local communities benefit from tourist influx, but at the same time make
They
sure that
also-
the environment is protected and the cultural heritage is protected too. And it's a kind of, as they say in Myanmar, it's a win-win situation. So.
Okay, you're from Myanmar. How big is the challenge? Because Myanmar has been an enigma for the rest of the world, and it's opening up recently. And
Yes,
I
just
see
opening
waves
up.
of people going there.
Yes.
Now it must be a real challenge for Myanmars to actually conserve their culture and heritage. We can learn something from you. How is it in Myanmar? Because that will be one of the themes that I think Somi
you
should
mentioned
address.
about the living culture,
Yes.
and this has been started by now, since about 4 years ago. Manipur University is sending scholars to study Meitei settlements in Mandalay. They are now doing as much as they can, and they explore into their traditions, their belief, their religion, the way they eat, the way they make weaving, etc. They are now starting this study already 4 years ago, because I was involved in this affair.
No, what I'm trying to understand is, it's okay, fine. No, they're having this culture, this life, but with the influx of the tourists, with the increase in their income level, with increase in standard in life, things are going to take some change.